Welcome back to the Automation Podcast. My name is Shawn Tierney, and this week on the show, I meet up with Alan Cone from Siemens to learn all about their HMI and SCADA software, WinCC. Alan, thank you for coming on the Automation Podcast to bring us up to speed on Cymatic WinCC. I've seen a lot of different SCADA packages out there, HMI packages out there in the past, but I'm excited to learn about WinCC. We've been using a lot of Siemens here in-house. But before we jump into your introduction to this product, can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Shawn. Thanks for having me on. Yes, my name's Alan Cone. I am the product marketing manager for Somatic WinCC, or for all the Somatic HMI. Got a team under me. I really handle the SCADA products, being, WinCC V8, WinCC Professional, WinCC OA, and a little bit with Unified, but I got somebody helping me out there. But I've been with Siemens for 28 years. I've been doing various parts of the automation for the last 23. Started with controls group and then moved over to the automation and found a home in HMI and been happy here ever since.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to learning about what all these things mean, WinCC V8, Professional OA, and Unified. So when I see that, I'm like, that seems like those are different products. So I won't steal any more of your thunder. Go ahead.
Yeah, just wanted to, as you said, they are different products. We've got the WinCC is just the family name, and we look at HMI software as either being, or HMIs as being a machine level application or a supervisory application. And in the machine level world, at least when it comes to the software, we have WinCC Basic and Comfort as engineering software. And that's the software that customers use to program our HMI panels with. We next step up to WinCC Advanced Engineering Software, which can do the panels. It's built on that, but also adds a PC-based runtime. And then we have the associated runtime software. And those are our packages that have been out since about 2010. Great packages, lots of customers out there using it. Back in end of 2019, we released WinCC Unified as our next generation. So we've got WinCC Unified ES that takes care of our unified panel programming, as well as the Comfort Basic that we have in the older hardware pieces, and also WinCC Unified PC engineering package, which takes care of the panels plus the PC-based programming. But just to continue with the WinCC family and the supervisory, we have WinCC V8, which is our universal SCADA system for scalable applications. WinCC Professional, which is a version of a subset of WinCC V8 that's down within the TIA portal, which all their other WinCC products were in that were under the machine level piece, as well as our Step 7 programming software and other packages. We have a third product called WinCC OA, which is really, it was a company we acquired several years ago, rebranded it as WinCC OA or WinCC Open Architecture, and it's for very large scale distributed applications. So when you're talking about large pipeline applications or very large, tunnel applications, or field applications, everything, we've just got very large distributed applications. That's where it fits best. And then we also here in the SCADA level, the WinCC Unified, our newest product in PC, which is growing into being a SCADA level application. We can do client server now and continue. But today I really wanted to focus on WinCC V8 because it is our core SCADA package and really stay in the SCADA world as opposed to talking in the machine level world, because I know you've had other conversations with some Siemens people with WinCC Unified and where we're going there. So WinCC V8 we'll focus on, and it has been out, or the WinCC product itself has been out since the late 90s with version 1. For a long time we're sitting at WinCC version 7, between 7.0, 7.2 up to 7.5 since like mid 97, 98 timeframe we came out with the 7 version. And just last year we said, hey, it's time for, not time for a version change. We've just made so many changes to it and have taken such a big step with it. We wanted to come out with a new version, and we came out with the WinCC V8 version. But as V7, we had lots of success in different applications out there, water, wastewater, packaging, food and beverage, mining, milling, tire manufacturing, see there, metals manufacturing. So it's out there in all different kind of industries that where people need supervisory control and everything. So I want to spend a few minutes just talking about what WinCC V8 is and just guide you through a little bit of that. So when we look at WinCC V8, we tried to make sure we had a nice scalable system so it could grow with your application, or start small, grow big, or start big and expand from there if you need to. But we also want to make sure that what we do with a lot of products is, hey, let's make sure it's not overly complicated to engineer, and let's make sure we can build lots of stuff in there to really improve engineering and make it more efficient on the engineering side. And keep it innovative, because industry's changing like crazy. People's demands and requirements are changing, so we are always constantly updating our product and adapting our product. And as I said, come out with new versions to give you new functionality as our industries change. And with Siemens, we've got a very large base of certified solution partners out there and support that'll help our customers as they run their plants. 24-hour support, service hotlines if we need them. Lots of solution partners that can help them engineer the products as they need to. So WinCC V8 is just as I said, the right SCADA system for every application you may have out there. And security is also a big thing we've brought into all our products, and WinCC V8 is no stranger to that. It sort of helped us get going there with industrial security within our whole Siemens products web. And we've built a product that works well to tie into a lot of our other hardware to help secure those communications, get protocols and handshakes going to talking to the field devices. User capability or user login information, user security there as well, and user rights in there. So whether you're talking to our family of PLCs or some other devices out there, we've got open security policies there that can integrate there to help keep the plant and facilities more secure from a cybersecurity standpoint.
For our audio audience, I just wanted to throw out there that some of the things that were on the slide was like secure PLC communications with TLS protocol, and then certificates using OPC-UA and other communication formats. So it really seems like your integration to domains and Windows and requiring complex passwords, and it seems like you've got the whole soup to nuts here as far as ensuring you have secure communications in a secure system. And I want to throw that out there for anybody who's listening. I know a quarter of our audience is audio only, so I just wanted to add that in. Back to you.
One thing with WinCC, we wanted to make sure we had not just a one-size-fits-all application. So it is a scalable system. I mean, it can start as just a single user system out there. So I've got a PC talking to field devices out there, displaying local screens there. Or you can take it up into large distributed systems. I mean, we can split the project up to 18 different servers. We can do redundant servers. We can have clients in there being other WinCC stations, or web-based clients, as much as you need, up to 150 different client stations out there. So, it can start small and grow over time, or as you need to, you can scale it up to a very big system there, which is the V8. And as I said, if you need to go to either larger systems, we've got WinCC that can handle that. As I said, redundancy, so you've got data security, flip back and forth. But I really want to sit here and talk about all the different options that make up, or all the different pieces that make up the WinCC system. And when we look at WinCC V8, we have our base system. So out of the box, you buy a configuration package. It also comes with a runtime license there, so you're ready to go. That's all you need. But we've got a lot of native drivers for Siemens and other third-party devices, including OPC-UA there, so we'll help you talk to anything out there in the world. A nice historical database, which is actually a Microsoft SQL Server database. So that is included as it is installed in your system when you install WinCC. And of course, it comes with a graphics designer so that you can make pretty pictures. We've got a very large symbol library. We've recently, in the last 4 or 5 years, converted all our graphics to scalable vector graphics, which allows you flexibility. So when you start scaling pictures or zooming in, zooming out, keeps you the nice clear pictures. But you can also take objects and break them apart and start modifying the internals based on tag count. So like an example I always show is we've got a boiler that's an SVG graphics, and I can say take the tubes in that and change the color of the tubes based on the temperature that maybe the boiler water is. Flame, I can show a flame, the flame length, and all this other stuff. So you can actually get graphics that can represent what's going on out in the field. An alarm logging is part of it. Most SCADA systems, all SCADA systems need alarm logging so the operators know when their problems are. And we've got one that's fully flexible to configure. You can have different alarm classes, different color schemes that you need for all that stuff. So it's popped on the screen, you're good to go. Report designer, so you create some basic reporting there for end of shift needs or just other issues as you need them. A full, once again, for the security piece, a big user information or user administration part where you can define tons of users and lots of different classes for the users. We've got the standard supervisor operator and a couple others like that, but you can create your own up to like 32 different user classes and assign them different rights for which one I have access to within the project. We've also got a tag simulator that comes with it. So when you're in the engineering world, you can say, hey, let me simulate some tags in there so I can actually see what my screens are going to look like, or go out and connect to a PLC with the program running and pull it back in there. Plus a whole lot more that's all part of the base system. And I've talked a lot of native drivers. These are the driver packages that we have that come with the thing, with the WinCC off the bat. So you can see we've got the whole S7 family of PLCs, 300, 400, 1200, 1500, even the old S5 PLCs out there. But then we've got third parties being Modica, Modbus, Omicron, Allen Bradley, Mitsubishi, as well as some other Siemens protocols such as Motion, Profibus, Synumeric, as well as OPC UA there to be able to work with a bunch of OPC drivers and really talk to a lot of other devices out in the field. So, when you look at Somatic WinCC, it's not, hey, here's a SCADA system for Siemens PLCs. No, here's a SCADA system for the world.
Now, when I buy V8, I get all those drivers, or do I have to pay extra for these drivers?
With the exception of maybe the telecontrol, they're all included. The telecontrol is actually an extra package.
Oh, all right, that's good.
Yeah, but all the rest of them are in there, part of the native package, you're good to go. So, is a lot more to WinCC than just the base system we talked about. Base system will have you up and running as a single operator station, talking to hundreds of devices, doing your alarm management, doing your user and everything. But then we have a lot of options that can be added on to expand the system. And just a few of them, that's all the next, not a few of them, I got quite a few slides on it. But WinCC server, and that's just what it is. It allows the WinCC station to become a server in its own right. So if you're working with a desktop operating system like Windows 11, it'll allow you to connect 3 additional clients to that server there and start pulling information. If you need more than 3, then Microsoft requires a window or a server operating system. So you have the Microsoft server operating system you need, but you also need the WinCC server option so that you can do the client server network. Redundancy gives you the ability to secure your system availability, whether you want to make sure that, hey, you don't have any downtime, or you want to make sure you have critical data backed up and everything. You can do redundance. You can do a redundant pair, 3 redundant servers, 4 redundant servers, whatever you need. And we've got a unique way of doing redundancy that is just a little checkbox. So when you design your project, you say, hey, I want to make this redundant. I check it. I identify a redundant server. WinCC will do all the back end work there to create the package and deliver it to the redundant server, and you're ready to go. Nice. So as opposed to having just 2 different systems out there in parallel running, talking to the PLCs, we've actually got a system that says, hey, I'll have one of you talking to the server, the master talking to the server. If I go down, communications automatically switches over to the backup, lets you rebuild the master server there. And then when you bring it back online, it'll slowly but surely rebuild all the data there, so you truly don't have any data loss. Mm-hmm. So that's a redundancy system. WinCC Data Monitor, that gives you the ability to do some management type dashboards there to report the data. You can bring it in, you can create it on the engineering world, or you can create it on the fly in the runtime world. where you can do tables, charts, graphs, however you want to just look at the data, specify a time span. If you want to look at some of the pictures, you can look at some of the pictures. They're just still graphics because it doesn't provide live picture updates, but it does give you the ability to bring live data into a dashboard setup there. Instead of the regular thick clients where I have a WinCC station sitting out there talking to a WinCC server, we have a couple different options for web-based server client or web-based client capabilities. And one of them is Web Navigator. We've had Web Navigator out forever. It relies on an application installed on the Microsoft operating system of a PC there, and then lets you open up a web browser, log into that server, and you got full control of the system, just like you were in front of the terminal there with the WinCC on it. So it's a way to, without adding additional WinCC stations out in the field, to be able to use a web browser and server-based licensing to come back and get your view screens and control your application. With a lot of HTML5 web-based clients are now out there and trying to get a lot more communication capabilities or spread the information around to cell phones and other non-Microsoft applications. A few years ago, we came up with WinCC Web UX, which is web user experience. And that just does a similar thing. It allows any HTML5 device out there to open up a web browser and get access to the WinCC server and be a client that way. So that's where we started making that shift about 3 versions ago, and had to spend do a lot of development work because with Web Navigator, we're using a lot of Microsoft ActiveX controls, which didn't work in HTML5. So we redeveloped a lot of our controls and a lot of other stuff to give us that Web UX capabilities and the HTML5 capabilities. So, and that's just the pictures here just show, here's where you could have your WinCC screen, and I need to display information on a cell phone or an iPad. I could sit there and create screens for that and pull the information in. And then WinCC telecontrol, that was an extra driver I'd mentioned ago when you were looking for extra cost. Telecontrol just allows us to go out and connect to a lot more RTU units out there, remote terminals. So if you've got a large, like a wastewater facility there, it has lots of pump stations that are radio communications. That's where telecontrol can help with that and help build that radio communication out there to pull the information back out of the RTU units. We continue on this path of added extras. WinCC user archives, if you need to do recipe management or either data management, because you're taking readings from the field and you need to store them in your WinCC database, you can use WinCC user archives for that. And that gives you expansion to, hey, let me create recipes so I know what cookies I'm making today, or I've got batch testing information I need to pull back into it. Process Historian is an off-site historical repository. It can pull information from various different WinCC systems as well as our PCS systems and pull them all into one central location and store the data that way. So if you need off-site data retention, that's one way you could do it, or just use the standard WinCC historian as pulling the database and keeping it in the WinCC system. 2 other ones that are on opposite sides here, calendar schedule and event notifier. They work close together with each other as options there. Calendar scheduler allows you to just do that, schedule stuff based on a calendar. So if you need to turn your machine on at 8 a.m. every morning, you can set an event that says, hey, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m., turn the machine on, and it'll be up and running there. You don't have to think about it. Or if you need to trigger this event to happen at 3 p.m. on Wednesday, just like in Outlook, you can schedule a meeting for 3 p.m. Wednesday, and it says, hey, I need to trigger this event. Let me trigger this event. Event notifier helps forward alarm messages via emails or SMS, and it provides a calling chain for either those emails or the text messages that says, hey, if the first person doesn't answer, let me escalate it. Let me escalate this to the second, escalate to the third. So it's just a way that you don't always have to be monitoring the WinCC to get notification that something's going wrong or something needs to be done. Performance Monitor, that's our KPI analysis tool. So it's an open tool plugs into WinCC, and you can sit there and start defining and writing different scripts and not scripts, but different formulas that you need to create KPIs. So if you just want something simple as uptime versus downtime as a percentage, just pull the tags, they're giving that information, build a little math formula and start displaying it as a number on the screen or a graph on the screen. So you can start doing your KPIs and see what's really going on. It also goes more advanced where you can start building Gantt charts. And if you're monitoring equipment states, it'll help the Gantt chart build that out where you can show, hey, here's where I'm down waiting on material, or I'm down waiting on maintenance, or, having problems with waiting on user interfaces or whatever. So you can build a decision tree in there and have operators put information in to really help figure out where your bottlenecks are in your plant so that you can get more productivity out of your line and correct those. We also have WinCC audit and change control. So if you're in an application where you really need to see what's going on because it's critical, like FDA applications where you're making something and you validated the machine and says, hey, as long as I don't make changing the parameters, I'm making a good product. You got to keep track that you're making changes. So audit will do it in the runtime world. We'll keep track of any operator changes or operator inputs on whatever values you define. It'll keep track of those and build you an auditable database where you can say, hey, here's the values, here's where nothing went on, or no, this is when we changed the value. Here's the reason we changed the values. Here's who changed the values. Here, why they changed the values, and give you the flexibility to really build an auditable database trail through the production process. And change controls comparable package, but it's more for the engineering piece of it. So if people are making engineering changes in the project, it keeps track of that and says, hey, on March 2nd, Joe went in there and he changed this, button from a red button to a green button. Here's his engineering justification for that. So it just gives you a good auditable trail for those applications that really need it. So we talked a lot about the core product and using it out on the production floor. But another key piece of SCADA is to take information that's going on the factory floor and provide that information to other equipment and other sources out there. And we've got lots of different options that can help do that. One of the simpler ones is in WinCC Industrial Data Bridge. And it's as simple as its name. It's a data bridge. It's a piece of software that will say, hey, let me tap into the WinCC database or several other sources, pull it through, and let me dump it in some other sources out there. So if I wanted to take it out of, WinCC SQL and dump it over in Excel, I can do that. Or if I need to move it from one database to the other, and it is real-time writing of the data. So as soon as it's written in one database, it'll move it straight over to the second database. So you just turn it on, let it run, and it'll sit there and copy data all day long for the tags you identify. WinCC Connectivity Pack is a good way to move data up into other business and IT systems. And it's not a continual database push like Industrial Data Bridge is. It's something where you can say, hey, I need to go specify that I want, at certain times, send a certain set of data somewhere, or let me go grab data based on, I need to see what happened last week, Wednesday between 2 and 4. I can say, go grab the information between 2 and 4 for all these tags, bring it back to me to this separate station or device. Let me do an analysis on it. Let me look at it and see what's going on. So Connectivity Pack would live within the WinCC and push the data out of the WinCC station. We have Connectivity Station, which does a similar thing. It would just be a separate station outside of the WinCC that would allow you to access that historical or runtime data and put it on any computer and push it to any other system as you need to. Skip over Energy Pro, we'll come back to that. But also, we've got a lot of WinCC cloud connectors or a cloud connector option that we have out there. And you can get drivers such as the MQTT or the REST drivers, which will let you move WinCC data up into some of those cloud applications. So whether you want to use MQTT to push the information up into the cloud, or you want to use a REST interface to either pull information out of other IT systems or push information into IT systems, those are some of the newer drivers and features we've added to WinCC to work with the whole Internet of Things and the connected factories and what. And then we also have a WinCC Open Developers Kit that's available to people. So if they want to write their own custom controls for WinCC, it's there. Standard programming languages are C++, C#, and VB.NET. So you can use those languages, create your own little application, do stuff as you need to with WinCC. That's just the openness of WinCC. And another little package we have is Somatic Energy Manager Pro. That can be used just to help you monitor and maintain your energy usage. Now, when we talk energy, we're not just talking like maybe electricity, or water, but we're also talking, anything that you flow through your plant. Is it gas? Is it electrical inputs? Is it air power? Stuff like that. As long as you've got a meter out there that's metering your usage, you can bring it back in the Energy Manager Pro and start predicting it, and charting it, and seeing where it is. If you need to, compare one plant to another plant, you could do that. Or if you want to compare lines to lines, see what's going on, just keep an eye of what's going on with the energy usage. So if you see something going out of spec because it's using a lot more energy, you say, hey, maybe there's a problem and I need to do some maintenance on that equipment so that I can reduce some drag and get the motors running better. We also have partners out there, or other applications out there, but there's a lot of third-party add-ons. While our PM add-ons, and PM in this case stands for process management. One other group within Siemens says, hey, we can use that ODK. We can write a lot of different applications there for helping process management, process control within production systems. So they've got a whole suite of PM products, and these are just a few of them: PM Control, Analyze, PM Open, PM Logon, PM Maintain, PM Quality, that just to give you additional functionality and build on the functionality of WinCC it is. As I said, PM Control can help you with order management and order control and process orders shipping through the factory there. So you can say, hey, I've got an order for 10,000 of these things. Let me run the production on those. So you know how you're running the production on that, and do the batch management records with it, where PM Analyze comes in and says, hey, we can do a lot of analysis on alarms and production data and all this other stuff, and bring it all in there, quality for batch reporting. So a lot of other additional add-on options that can do that can really expand the capabilities of WinCC and make it fit for all your needs out there. So that was just a general overview of WinCC and all the options. And we're continuing trying to build up WinCC V8 and improve WinCC V8. Even though we're coming out with WinCC Unified as our next generation, we know it's going to be, we've got a long history of WinCC from version 1 all the way up to version 8 out in the factory. We're not going to leave customers high and dry and say, oh, we're switching tomorrow. You got to figure it out. So we plan on the WinCC V8 product being on the market for a long time as we continue to have customers move at their leisure into the WinCC Unified platform as our long-term solution there. But we're not going to let the V8 product just sit here and go stale and stagnant either. So we're always looking at a way to, hey, how can we improve engineering efficiencies for those engineering companies out there that are selling time, their time and talent. Let's make sure our product's not slowing you down, and help you make sure you can meet time to market as customers need it. We're continuing trying to improve and give modern user graphics. That was one of the biggest changes between 7.5 and V8, as we really stepped up a lot of the graphics capabilities, and improved a lot of graphic capabilities or graphic objects that we had in there, and gave them a lot more modern look and feel, as well as even bringing in 3D capabilities within it. And we always look at, if you're using the WinCC with the Siemens automation system, let's make sure those two can work together and help you reduce downtime, or at least figure out what's going on. So we've got a lot of diagnostics tools that'll take advantage of the diagnostic tools within our PLC to really make sure you can keep your plant up and running. As I talked about, our efficient engineering workflow, we've made lots of changes over the years with the version 7 and 8 product. But really trying to say, hey, if it's something just as simple as drag and drop capabilities, I can go in my tag database, I could grab a bunch of tags, drop them on the screen that says, oh, well, let me create IO fields on the screen for you. Our configuration studio, we came out with that several versions ago, and it really lets you do all the stuff you can see there in the middle of the screen: tag management, alarm logging, tag logging, text library, user administration. It all put all these tools into an Excel look and feel. So now there are tables that you can sit there and say, hey, I've got this one line, I need to copy it 10 times. Okay, let me copy it 10 times. It's smart enough to say, hey, user becomes user 1, user 2, user 3, all the way to user 10. Or if you're working with tags and you had motor 14, it'll pick up more 14, 15, 16, 17, and automatically, number them like that. So you can do a lot of mass tag generation real easy, drag and drop capabilities if you need to change something around, or search. So if you had a bunch of motors and you're duplicate all those, it will change motor to valve. Now I've got my motor and my valve tags all set up and easy to go, just as quick as easy as Control C, Control V type stuff. So that's, we've got a lot of powerful editors in there to help customers that are designing projects and building projects really get to the point where they can engineer it real fast. So they're saving time there on the engineering side and moving into the production side. Also, we look at, you can create your own user style. So we can do different, say, hey, here's defined user styles. Here's how I want IO fields to look like. What I want to do there, if I need to do different views, types of views, we call them design switching. So maybe you want to go from a daylight type screen that I'm looking at in daylight, and then I got a night shift that comes in there. Let me switch screens. So maybe I switch from a white background to a black background, so we don't have this big white light at night working there. And that's just, it's not two different sets of screens. You just say, hey, here's a button, let me flip the switch and go from my design standard that's the light colored screen to the dark colored screen, and you're good to go. Change the color palette a little bit to make it work. We've really taken advantage of multi-touch capabilities with the monitors and have added a lot of stuff there, so we can do pinch, zoom, and capabilities, as well as two-hand control. And one thing we've had for a long time is decluttering capabilities. And you may ask, what's decluttering? Well, just when you're looking with Google Maps, you pull out and look at the United States, and you just get the United States with a few states on it. But you zoom in, and all of a sudden you get cities and roads and smaller roads, and you can keep zooming down until you see your house, right? And just depends on your zoom level, it adds additional material. WinCC can do the same thing. You can set it up where here's all the information, but at zoom level 100, I only want to see this parameter. When I go to 200, add some more detail to the screen, add more detail to the screen. As I said, we've brought in the SVG library, which gives us a lot of flexibility to take graphics and start animating graphics a little bit better, be it color palette or movement of the graphics, because you're in these, you can take the scalable vector graphic and break it down and work with it. And one of the newest things is 3D control. So you can start taking 3D objects, bringing those into the WinCC. So maybe you've got an overview of the production line or the plant, or the picture here, the tank farm, and just fly around the tank farm, look at it. Maybe you got a piece of equipment that you want to move around, open the doors on it. As this one indicates, if you're seeing the screen, we got a little red box there with a controller. That's just an alarm saying, hey, here's where the problem is with the controller. So now operators know, oh, open the bottom cabinet. It's the top one that I need to work with. So a lot of capabilities there within 3D control to really start highlighting the equipment and what could be failure ports or stuff that needs to be addressed with the equipment. So once again, just trying to really clean up the user interface here with our V8 product. Just another example of the 3D control. You pull out various different 3D based engines out there, and you can create your own 3D file or grab somebody else's 3D file and bring it in, start highlighting the different parts of the machines you need to with the laser head. Here's one red, or the controller, or the robot arm. So, give you different views of that. So a lot of flexibility there to really go from just a 2D picture into a 3D actual world and get you a better understanding of what's going on in controlling your plant. I talked a little bit about the system diagnostics. If you look at the screen here, you can see where we can actually, pull the information out of the PLC diagnostic states and start displaying that on the screen so you can see what's going on there. If there are alarms going off, you can say, hey, I got an alarm going off. Let me open up and view the PLC code within the WinCC screen here in runtime and see where my problem is. So maybe you've got a line of limit switches and one of those limit switches is off. You just go down the code and say, hey, this is my block where I'm having problems. I'm pulling something in from a limit switch, an IO signal from a limit switch. Now I know where it is, so I can go quickly and easily correct that so I can get my production back up and running. It's just all standard built in with the product with the 1200, 1500 PLCs where you can start bringing in this functionality and taking a look at it. Just another way we try to say, hey, once you get your equipment up and running, how can we make sure that if there is a downtime, we get you recovered and back up and running fast? Because if your machine's not running, it's not making money, and that's where we start losing the efficiencies. Talked a little bit earlier about the different drivers we have. As more and more the industry 4.0 comes around, a lot of people are sharing information all over the world with it. So we've got drivers in there in our cloud connector that can help take information, push it up into the cloud, be it our MindSphere platform or Microsoft Azure, AWS, however you're doing your cloud solution. But WinCC can be that gateway to take information from the southbound plant world and push it up into the northbound direction into the cloud capabilities. So as I said, with support for Siemens MindSphere, Microsoft Azure, Amazon Web Services there, and the other ones out there, so we can help make WinCC the information portal and provide the information wherever you need it, however you need it, whenever you need it. But we also look at the future. I mentioned earlier the WinCC Unified is our future HMI platform. We released it just coming up on 4 years ago right now. Got a little bit delayed on the launch with COVID, but now we're back to really pushing that hard and heavy. And when we first released it, it was more for the panel space, but we do intend Unified to grow up into the SCADA world. We just know it's going to be a long time because we've got a large install base of, the V7, V8 product out there. We want to keep those customers happy, but we understand that customers may also start having plants out there that have more Unified on the machine level. So we're working, especially with the V8, we made a lot of steps forward to be able to build a bridge between the WinCC V8 and the Unified product. And it could be that now within V8, I have got the capability to go out and talk to those Unified stations out on the machine level, pull the information back. We've got a collaboration piece that's part of Unified that we've brought into V8 so we can start sharing screen information, tag information in lots of different ways. So we're looking at, hey, these aren't two separate islands. Well, they are two separate islands, but make sure we got a bridge between the two islands. So as people are adopting our future platform, our current platform, will work with them and carry them forward. So there's not a hard break there, and pretty much bring the two together until one can take over, until Unified can take over the rest of it. And we don't see, we see being able to support both these platforms, or at least the WinCC V8 platform, for a long time running still. It's Siemens standard policy that when we do move a product into phase out, it's a 10-year phase out cycle between when we phase a product out and we discontinue a product. So, we're not even talking about phasing out the WinCC V8 product. And even if we did 5 years from now, we'll still support it till 2038. So, we've got a long support cycle because we just don't want to leave our customers hanging. We don't want to say, oh, we're making changes, you just have to deal with it. No, we're here to work you through them, support you for long term, and keep it going as we transition from one family product to another. But once again, we looked at V8 and said we need to make lots of changes from 7.5 to V8 to be able to continue the long-term support, give people a lot more functionality in it, and continue to move it forward. So, once again, we look at what our HMI systems doing and what our SCADA systems are doing, and we see the requirements are continually changing. So we're continually adopting the product for that, continually growing the product, but we're trying to make sure we can keep a product that's scalable. It's from easy, small systems, single user systems to large systems, give you flexibility to create your own little applications there, have a lot of individual or a lot of extensions on our side, so that it isn't a one size fits all. It's like, hey, you need this, buy this. If you don't need it, you don't need to pay for it. So lots of different options there to help expand and build your system, as well as third-party options and other pieces there to give you more specific solutions as you need it. Once again, what makes our WinCC D8 system so special, in my opinion? Well, it is a product we've had out on the market over 25 years. Started with V1, now we're up to version 8. Lots of different subversions between that. Lots of different changes, adapting from one Sybase to WinCC or Microsoft SQL databases, lots of different changes. And our V8 product that we just released is just another major change in the product where we're saying, hey, let's bring more web capabilities into it. Let's make it full HTML5, bring a lot of different IT type connectors in there with the REST and the MQTT, and just be it ready for it to be that information portal for the Industry 4.0 and the IoT applications out there. So with that, I want to thank you for your time. Once again, my name is Alan Cone of Siemens. If you're looking for more information, just hit our website, siemens.com/WinCC. That'll take you to the general WinCC page. From there, you can say, hey, I'm interested in a little bit more about Unified. You talked about that. Or, hey, I've got a really big, diverse application. You'll find information about WinCC OA there, as well as our core product, WinCC D8. So with that, thanks for your time. And any questions, Shawn?
Yeah, I think it sounds like you've really taken good care of your long-term WinCC customers. Version 8 takes your product that's been on the market that you have a large user base using, and you guys really modernized it and gave them all the latest and greatest features and functions that you'd want in a SCADA package. And, the ability to do the standalone PC WinCC or, do a client server system with redundancy and multiple servers. It seems like you have the whole platform that you would need for any type of application. It also seems like you have all the newest and latest features like SVGs and HTML5 support and MQTT option, so that they can do everything they need to do today. With all that said, Alan, I really want to thank you for coming on the show and kind of running through what WinCC is. I mean, everybody knows what HMI and SCADA is. If you're watching, you saw the screens; they look like what you would expect, but really kind of explaining to us, hey, these are the add-ons. If you want to do this, you're going to grab that. You want to do this, you're going to grab that. And so I really appreciate you giving us that introduction into WinCC version 8.
My pleasure, Shawn. Thank you for having me on the show.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode. I want to thank Alan for taking time out of his busy week to put that presentation together and to come on the show and tell us all about Siemens HMI and SCADA software, WinCC. Now, if you did enjoy that episode, please consider giving us a like and a sub. And if you'd want to follow me or get in touch, you can do so over at automation.locals.com. You'll also find all of my training courses over at theautomationschool.com. With that said, I want to wish you all a very happy, safe, and healthy week. And until next time, my friends, peace.